Hey guys, Tuna Marine here with another Q&A video for you. So I asked you guys to put up questions on Facebook, and you did, and I appreciate it. And so I will bust that shit on now. Let's see. So let's go to this question. If I was the commandant, what would I change about the Marine Corps? Good question. I think that I would. The first thing would be to get rid of the fucking stupid ass tattoo policy. The current policy is like you can't have sleeves unless it's been redacted, which I think the new commandant, not Robert Neller, but the one before him was going to be changing that, but I'm not sure if it did. But either way, get rid of that shit. Let Marines have full sleeves. Who gives a fuck? Keep the tattoos off your hands and off your fucking neck and face, and we're good to go as far as I'm concerned. Who cares about anything else? Marines are meant to be fucking warriors, and tattoos, being concerned about tattoos is fucking stupid. I think that I wouldn't cave to those trying to push to allow women to like make it mandatory that women be allowed to be infantry. I think, or just combat jobs in general. I think if that's going to be the case, and like I've said before, I think some women can handle it, and some women are tough as shit and can deal with it, but the vast majority aren't able to, and the vast majority fucking don't want to. I mean, being infantry is not an easy fucking job. I can't see a whole ton of women doing it. And so I think if they're going to have that, they need to keep the standards the exact same that they have for men. Whatever it is for a man, if the woman could do it, then hey, good for her. Let her do that shit. But until then, no. Don't be fucking stupid. Yeah, I mean, I think those would be my two main initial things. I'm not really sure how the Marine Corps is on other stuff. I know they're kind of getting lax on other things, but that's for another video, I think. Let's see. Recon contracts, are they worth it? I mean, yes and no. I mean, if recon's what you want to do, then being able to sign up as recon's awesome. But you have to know that it is hard as fuck. It is way harder than boot camp physically than boot camp. It is so much more difficult to be a part of recon, to be a sniper, to do all that kind of shit. It is way harder than I think a lot of you guys understand. Those guys are fucking tip of the fucking spear of when it comes to athletes. They are insane. And you may think you're in good shape now. These guys will run you into the fucking dirt. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm not saying that to fucking make it sound like hardcore. I'm saying that because it's the fucking truth. These guys, the recon just in general, and specifically I know a lot of you want to be snipers, are in such good shape you can't even fathom it. Like, I'd venture to guess that a good chunk of them are like Olympic quality in terms of their cardio and their ability to just deal with fucking tough shit. They are intense, to say anything. So it's worth it because you get the shot to become recon, which is awesome and not a lot of guys get to do. But it's also one of those things where you're like, if I fail, what's going to happen next? So you have to understand what happens if you fail and you don't become recon. Does that mean that you're just going to go to an infantry job? Are they going to put you to some other, some admin job maybe that you don't want? You just have to make sure that you understand what happens if you don't pass the requirements for recon. So yeah, I mean, that's all I can say about that, really. If you could replace the M16A4 with a different rifle for our troops, what would it be? Good question. I really don't know a ton about the various other rifles that are out there. I've seen good things about the XM11, but I don't know where the hell that's at in terms of production and reliability. But I like the general premise of the XM11. I think it'd be a fucking excellent weapon. I would like, in theory, to possibly bump up to some sort of 7.62 rifle. I think the rounds hit a bit harder, and they certainly will knock somebody down. A 5.56, don't get me wrong, will absolutely kill somebody, but when somebody's hopped up on drugs and whatever else, they can get hit several times and have it apparently not affect them. They'll die eventually, certainly, but not in the immediate vicinity or immediate timeline unless you hit them in the head. So I think something that would take 7.62. The only downside to that is the ammo is much heavier. The rifles more or less weigh the same. but the ammo is a lot heavier, and we have guys carrying several hundred rounds. It adds up, plus all their other gear. So I think that have to be taken into consideration, but I can't see a lot of Marines disagreeing with that assessment. The 7.62 is at the very least perhaps the direction to go. Thoughts on MARSOC? MARSOC's the shit, man. They're tough as hell. Don't get me wrong. They're awesome at what they do, and like Recon, like all that, it is hard. But certainly give it a try. I mean, but if it's something you want, you need to, if you can, try and meet somebody that is in that field, that is a MARSOC Marine, is a Recon, is a sniper, something like that, and learn from them exactly what to do. Because I didn't do any of that stuff, so I can't give you specifics on what you need to do outside work your ass off, lift heavy weights, run and run and run and run and run until you fucking ran around the world 10 times. Know how to swim. You have to be a very good swimmer. There's a variety of shit, so just go over that kind of stuff. And that's the best piece of advice I can give is, if you can, try to find somebody that does that job. That way you can learn from them. How are mortarmen and infantry units roll and what they do daily compared to artillery? I mean, the general... They're two completely different jobs. Mortars can be carried by the mortarmen. They're heavy as shit, and I'm sure they're not huge fans of fucking lugging the big ass base plates and the tubes around. But that's what they do. They carry their shit. They go on patrol with it. Artillery are fucking huge guns that you have to tow with a truck. You can't pull the artillery that the Marine Corps has. Like Winchester guys. In terms of the daily stuff, Marine artillery and infantry are similar in a lot of ways for like the day-to-day, in that you'll spend a lot of time at the armory, infantry especially. We'll spend our time at the armory, artillerymen will, but the vast majority of our time is spent in what they call the gun park, which is where the howitzers are parked, and you'll clean them, you'll drill on them, which is what the infantry do but they do it with their rifles up at the armory. And so, I mean, the vast majority of your day really is spent with the guns. I very few days during when we were working did we ever not go down and do something with the guns. Go down to clean them, go down to inventory some shit. You'd inventory shit fucking 10 times a day and get it checked by your commanding officer 3 times a day. Why? I don't know. It's the fucking Marine Corps for you. But in that sense, it's very similar. You will just be up there, bored out of your minds, because you can only clean a gun so many fucking times. You can only clean a mortar tube so many times, but they will make you do it over and over and over. So, in that sense, it's they're pretty similar. In terms of their role, the artillery, one, we can shoot from a lot further away. I can't remember the exact distance for mortarmen, but our howitzers can hit from 21 miles out. They can hit targets. And so we tend to be back a bit further. We can be very, very close to what's going on, but we tend to be, they want you a few miles back so there's a little space. But that doesn't always happen. But the mortarmen, they're right on top of it. They'll have their own security posted, so they'll have, guys with rifles ready to go, just in case they're wherever they're shooting the mortars from get hit. And so the mortars, they're right there in it. They can shoot a couple miles, I believe, but they tend to be a lot closer fire, and the rounds are smaller, so they can drop them in. And I don't know if they're necessarily more accurate than a howitzer, but I think you can do a little more with mortars just because of the closeness that you are, to the combat. But in that sense, it's mainly the mortars and artillery is used as suppression and to try to knock out big chunks of the enemy, their equipment, if it's fucking just sent out the open. But it's mainly used to either A, let your guys fucking get out of wherever they are because they're just taking a crazy amount of fire, or B, it allows them to get close to the enemy while they're hunkered down because they don't want to get hit by the artillery or the mortars. So it kind of just depends. But it's used a lot of times to soften up a target. It's kind of the term, I suppose. And let's see here. What is the Corps like in peacetime, and what's it going to be like in the fleet as a boot? All I know is it's going to suck. I never served during peacetime, which I'm very happy for. I think the Marine Corps is very, very good at fucking with you when there's nothing to do, and in peacetime, there's nothing to do. And so I think there's going to be a lot of cleaning, a lot of doing dumb shit. Just kind of fucking hating your life, I guess. I mean, you'll be going, especially if you're in a combat unit, you're going to deploy. You will go on like a MEU, so you'll hop on a boat and float around. You'll go to Japan, if you're on the West Coast. So it's kind of cool. So you'll get to do that stuff most likely. But otherwise, I really don't know. I mean, from what my buddies tell me, they don't like it. Because a lot of them are still serving. They don't like peacetime Marine Corps because of that very stuff. And so they've seen both sides. I've only seen one side and can only guess and go off what my friends have told me about the peacetime side, and they all hate it. They do not like it in the slightest. I mean, you'll make do, and maybe something will kick off, and you won't have to worry about peacetime Marine Corps anymore. You never know. But I'm just seeing all sorts of shit. I'm sorry, I'm looking on my Facebook page and seeing all sorts of stuff I didn't realize was there. So yeah, I mean, you just got to make do and just tough it out. Know that it won't last forever. But there's going to be a lot of cleaning, a lot of classes on stupid shit. It's gonna be a thing. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, guys. I appreciate the questions as always. If you have any, you can always hit me up. Like I've said, for several years now, I've been doing this, which is weird. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So as always, you know how to hit me up on Facebook. All the links and all that sort of stuff down in the description. And I will see you in the next one. Semper Fi.